PwC, which is one of the big four companies and a top financial service provider, mentioned that 92% of professionals need teamwork and communication skills to get promotions and leadership role. Alongside that, Harvard, which is world's best educational institute, mentioned that 85% of your success will depend upon soft skills like adaptability, communication, leadership, and interpersonal abilities. Investment banking is an industry which thrives upon soft skills. In this video, we are going to cover 10 soft skills that investment bankers are secretly developing and earning crores of rupees. So hello everyone, my name is Karan Damania. I am an ex-investment banker turned founder, and through Encoding Careers, we help you build successful career in finance. So let's get onto the screen and understand each of the soft skills in detail. Alright, the top soft skills you need to succeed in investment banking. For this, we have created the acronym of soft skills where each of the alphabet is related to a particular soft skills. Let us start with S, which is strong communication. We will understand what strong communication means and then how you can develop on it. Strong communication is the ability to express ideas clearly and confidently, both in writing and speech. Over here, it is very important to understand the two C's, that is clearly and confidently. Whatever you are trying to portray through written thing, that is email, or you are trying to portray through speaking to someone, it should be very clear and you should be confident while speaking of the same. So as an analyst level, you are at the junior level. At that time also, it is very important to have strong communication, because here also you are going to write and speak about what you have worked upon. So in writing, you will be sending out a lot of emails. In speaking, you will be explaining your deliverables, that is the research, the models that you have created, the valuation techniques that you have used to your clients and your seniors. And when you go up the ladder, that is take senior leadership positions like associate, AVPs, there it becomes very important to communicate things that are needed from the team. Let us understand what is expected from investment bankers. Number one, communicate insights clearly in emails, meetings, and presentation. Number two, tailor your message to your audience. If you are an associate, your emails will differ if you are sending it out to an analyst, and will differ if you are sending out to senior person like a managing director. So you need to tailor the tone of the entire email that you are sending out. Be concise. Clarity beats jargon. Try writing simple and bullet point emails. At the same time, when you are communicating things, say in a structured and point format so that people understand of what you are trying to communicate. And finally, number four, active communication prevents delay and misunderstanding. This is very important. Whenever you think that something should be communicated, at that time only speak upon that thing. If you delay upon things, there will be misunderstanding and overall work will be delayed. So that is about strong communication. Next is O, that is organization skills. Yeah, let's understand the definition. Being able to manage files, timelines, multiple tasks efficiently so nothing slips through during fast paced deal cycles. Investment banking is an industry where you will be working upon multiple deals at a single period of time. And at that time, you will have loads of files with you, loads of deadlines coming at every week. So you need to be very organized on how you manage this entire task, and you have to do it efficiently. As this is a very high stakes industry, you cannot miss out on things. Now, how do you stay organized in an investment bank? Number one, maintain clean folders and version control for models and decks. Whenever you are working upon clients, see to that you are putting the proper files in the client folders. And for every deliverable that you are working upon, let's assume that you are working upon a financial model, keep a version control of it. If it is the first version, add v1 to the entire file name. If you have given it out to review, you get feedback on it, the next model that you create will be version 2. So that way you can understand what is the current version that you are working upon, and will help you in staying organized. Use trackers, to-do list, and daily planning tools. This will help you to understand what are the tasks that you need to do today and how you can plan out the entire deal task. Number three, keep a record of deadlines and follow-ups for each deal. On your calendar, whatever the deadline is for a particular deliverable to be worked upon, add that and see to it how you can complete in the time that is remaining to that deadline. Final one is structured organization builds trust with your team. This is the most important thing. When you start staying organized and have things structured in your work, people will start to reach out to you whenever they will need help on anything. In Because in my investment banking journey, I have seen that a lot of people don't do this. They are working with messy files, they don't have a proper to-do list of what needs to be done, they don't have proper deadlines recorded in their calendars, and they are then missing out on things. Whenever any senior does your work audit, they have things organized. Whenever they are asking for any particular file, you have that handy with you and you are able to share across. So that is about organization skill. Next we have F of this entire soft skills, that is flexibility and adaptability. This means being open to sudden changes, urgent client requests, or shifting between different sectors, teams, or tools without resistance. You need to set your mind in such a manner that you will get calls of your clients or of your seniors late nights as well. You will have to keep in mind that you will be given sudden deliverables to work upon. Even if you are on your vacations, you will have to carry your laptop for that immediate changes. Along with that, you can be asked to change sectors as well. If particular sector is not doing well and investment bank thinks that other sector will do good, then they can shift you into that as well, and that you have to be ready for. How can you become flexible and adaptable? Number one, be ready for last minute changes in pitch book or models. So as already mentioned, that your seniors might reach out to you any time of the day or night and ask for these kind of last minute changes. Point number two, handle task switching without panic. To understand is, for example, you are working on a financial model for a client, and there is a immediate task that has come up for a particular client. An investor is asking for any deliverable, so you have to leave that task and switch to another one without panicking, like what will happen to the model or anything. If you are switching from it, have proper checks to it that you are not missing out on thing, and then save it in proper files, and that way you will be able to switch tasks easily. Number three, learn new sectors or tools as per deal needs. As we had mentioned in the above definition, that you will have to change sectors sometimes. It will be good for you if you are tracking new sectors, what sectors are growing in the market. Whenever time comes that you need to change, you will easily be adaptable to it. So that is about point number three. And final point is, adapt your working style to match seniors and client, because all the seniors will have certain kind of style that they are used to, and most of the investment banking seniors have similar kind of requirements. That is, they need files in particular format. If you have brand logo of blue or yellow color, then all the files that you work upon in Excel should have headers in that color. So that you will understand once you start working with your seniors. Here it will be important to have those templates already saved in your file, so whenever you are working upon them, you can easily use those templates and match the needs of your seniors. So that is about flexibility and adaptability. Next, we will move to T, that is time management. It is a skill of prioritizing and planning your work to meet tight deadlines without compromising on quality. As mentioned in the previous slide, that investment bankers are working on multiple deals at a single time. You will have multiple deadlines, multiple meetings at a single point of time. So that's where you have to manage your priority of what is very important to be worked upon and plan your work accordingly. Let's understand how you can do that. Point number one, prioritize tasks by urgency and importance. Lay out the entire tasks that are needed to be done over the period of week and give priority on what is the nearest deadline coming, and that way you will be able to phase out the entire task. Number two, set internal mini deadlines for large deliverables. So if you are working in a team who has divided the work deliverable, then set mini deadlines that by the end of afternoon we should be able to work upon this thing, by the end of the evening we should be able to work upon this thing, and that way you will create mini deadlines for a large deliverable and give out on the final deadlines. So that is how mini deadlines are set. Number three, use time blocks to avoid multitasking chaos. This is very important because you will think that let me shift from one task to another at the same time, and that way I will complete all the tasks at once. But multitasking will create chaos in your work, and you will not be able to complete a single task in time. That's where time blocking comes in. Now, time blocking is setting out a particular period in a day where you will be working on particular thing. So for an example, you are working on model. Every day of the week, you are setting 2 hours of time in the evening to work upon that model. And that way, you complete the entire model in 1 week of time or whatever time you take to work upon that. And that way, you allocate each deliverable a particular time, and which avoids multitasking, and you are able to deliver before deadline. And finally, number four, plan for feedback revision, not just submission. As we understood that when you are working on multiple deals, the work quality should not be compromised. Whenever you are submitting your deliverables to seniors or client, be ready to take feedback on it. They understand that you had multiple things to work upon, and they are okay with it. See how much time did you take to work upon that thing. Next time you have similar kind of work, set deadlines based on that. So that is how you take feedback and revise based on things worked upon, and not just do it for submission. So that is about time management. Next we have S once again, which is stress management. Over here, stress management is handling pressure calmly, especially during high intensity projects and back to back deadlines, essential for long term performance. Investment banking is an industry where it is very time consuming, it is very intense, that is you are having lot of work to be done at a single period of time, and you have back to back deadlines, that is you have to work upon things, deliver it out, work upon things, deliver it out, and that never ends. So here, it lot of time people get exhausted while working in this industry. After a certain period of time, you start getting stressed. Whenever this workload increases a lot and you are not able to deliver on it, you start being stressful. To overcome this entire stress thing, we have 4 points. Number one, build routines, sleep, food, movements, break. This will help you very much. If you have good healthy routine, like you are exercising, doing some kind of meditation, yoga, which lets thing go off your mind, this will help you in your work as well. If you are having good enough sleep, if you are having good food, taking healthy breaks, this will help you focus on your work and get things done fast. Point number two, learn to say yes wisely, not to everything. Make sure that you are not taking all the load of work to be done on you and dividing it amongst the team in proper manner. So here, say yes wisely and not to everything. Number three, decompress after intense sprints, not burnout. Whenever you have worked for 1 to 2 weeks continuously for a particular deal, let the body get some rest, take some time out into the nature, get relaxed and energized to once again go into the battle of deals. So that is how you can decompress. And number four is ask for help when overwhelmed. It's a strength. Whenever you are facing high stress situation, talk to someone on what can be done. Share your work with someone. If you see that someone has less load of work, they will be happy to help you, but you need to take initiative and reach out to them. So that is about stress management. Next we have K, that is knowledge of financial markets. This is not in particular the soft skill, but you should have intellect of financial markets. That is, you should have talking points and understanding about the industry. Here you need to stay informed about market trends, IPOs, deals, so you can bring real world context to your work and analysis. People like to work with people who can relate with them. When you are working for a particular sector client, if you talk language of that industry, the client will be willing to work with you. So that is why you need financial knowledge. Now, how you can develop on the financial market knowledge? Read daily updates. You can do it through Money Control, Economic Times, Bloomberg, FinShots. There are a lot of free platforms available where you can understand about what is happening in the industry. You can even track key indices, IPOs, M&A deals. You can go through all the IPOs that I've listed, understand of what was the strategy behind IPO, who are the investment banks involved. You can track various indices. There are industry specific indices like Bank Nifty, then Healthcare Index, which helps you understand about the overall trend in that particular sector. That way you will have talking points of about the competitors in that index and as well as the overall industry. Number three, relate market events to your deal sector. As mentioned, that you will be talking to clients based upon their industry. Here it is very important that whatever is happening in the market, you have the view of that entire events for the sector that your client is working. How will that impact the sector? So that will prove your expertise in financial markets. And number four, bring up relevant news in meetings to show awareness, which is also very important. So that was about K, knowledge of financial market. Next we move to I, that is interpersonal skills, which is collaborating effectively with team members, clients, and seniors through empathy, clarity, and professionalism. Over here, be respectful and professional with everyone, juniors to managing directors. Treat everyone equally because everyone is learning and wanting to grow in this industry. Know when to talk and when to listen. Whenever you are in meetings, let your client, let your investors do the talking. You try to listen whatever the points that they are giving input on. When you think that your input is needed, only then do the talking. Most of the time in investment banking, it's about listening and then strategizing things of what you should speak upon. So that is something that you need to take care. Next is acknowledge others effort, build relationships. In this collaborative environment, it will be very important that you treat everyone good and acknowledge efforts that people are putting in, so that it creates bonding and people are motivated to work. Alongside that, you have to focus on building relationship, not just as corporate people working together, but as humans. You have to understand about things and empathize with them. And final point is learn how your team prefers to work and adapt to it. When you will start out at entry level, absorb the culture of how people are working, what is the style that they like. Here, don't have the mindset that I will work on only these things, I will not work on particular things. Understand how the team is working, what is the work that each and everyone is assigned, and then slowly and gradually adapt to it. So that is about I. Next we have L, that is leadership, where you are taking ownership of your work, guiding juniors and stepping up when required, even without a formal title. To develop upon this, point number one, take initiative, don't wait to be told everything. After a period of time, when you have absorbed the culture, when you understand what is exactly needed to be worked upon, you should be someone that seniors are not constantly reaching out to and getting the work done. You should be proactive and take initiative on your own and start working upon things. Point number two, guide interns, juniors, even as an analyst. When there are newcomers into your team, help them understand about what is the work you do, how they can be better in their work, even if you are an analyst. Number three, own your task end to end from input to output. When things are needed to be worked upon, for example, you are working upon a financial model with team of two juniors under you. Own your task. That is, if you are needed to be worked upon like by calculating valuation and doing sensitivity, be owner of it. If there is some mistake in it and it is pointed out, be ready to take feedback on it. So that is a quality of a leader. And finally, number four, make decision when needed and justify them. When someone asks you what is needed to be done next, for an example, you are working upon a thing, you don't have an idea of what is the next step to take. At that time, you can make a decision, but you should have good research around it of why did you take that decision, and you should be able to justify it when asked upon. So that is about leadership. Next we have L once again, which is listening. Here listening means truly understanding what's being asked by seniors or clients by paying close attention and confirming instructions. Most of the time people are listening to speak, but that is what you don't have to do. How you can get better in listening? Number one, pay attention to what's said and what's not. Number two, repeat key ask to confirm understanding. So when you are in meeting and there are some points that you have to take action upon, repeat those action tasks and confirm that you have understood it right. Next is take detailed notes during calls and reviews. So this will prove upon the point number two, where you are taking notes and based upon that you are understanding and asking upon things. And finally, number four, listening well will be equal to fewer revisions, stronger output. When you totally understand of what is needed from you, the quality will be very higher of things that you have worked upon, and there will be fewer revisions to it because you have totally understood and then worked upon things. So that is about listening. Alongside listening, you have to put up some questions so that you get entire clarity of what is needed. And the final alphabet of soft skill is S, which is strategic thinking. It means looking beyond the numbers to understand the why behind a deed and making decisions aligned with long-term goals. To become a strategic thinker, number one, always ask why are we doing this before doing it. Strategic thinkers are someone who are not just doing things for the sake of being done. They want to understand what is the impact of the work that they are doing and what will be the output. That is why they are always questioning upon things, which your seniors will be very happy when you are trying to understand the underlying impact that is needed to be done. Point number two, see how each task fits into the bigger deal picture. In investment banking, making a deal successful is a combination of lot of tasks that are done on the execution part. As we understood in the part number one, what is the execution work investment bankers are doing, which is about research, then there is a financial analysis, then modeling is done. So everything combined creates a successful deal. When you think strategically, you understand that why a particular task is important and how is it going to make deal successful. Number three is think from investor or client's lens, not just Excel. Whenever you are working upon a particular deliverable, you are making things from a perspective of client. Here, if the client is not from a finance background, you have to make sure that the Excel you have worked upon, it should be very easy to understand. The formulas that you have used should not be very complicated. Entire thing is precise and concise to the point. Whenever one looks at it, they should clearly understand of what you are trying to portray. And finally, number four, offer solution, not just outputs. This will show maturity. Whenever you are in team meetings or client meetings, have your opinion on things and try portraying some solutions of how things can move ahead. For an example, if an industry is in downtrend, how can you get more clients? You don't mention that let's get more clients so that we get good business. Offer solution on how you can get clients, what are the industry that we should target, and that way it will show that you understand about things and you are mature enough to think in broad perspective. So that way we cover all the 10 soft skills. Alright, so that was it for the second part of investment banking skill series. Do check out the first part where we covered in detail each and every hard skills that investment banker need to succeed in their career. Alongside that, we have provided resources which you can use and develop your skill set for investment banking. So here's the video for that. Do check it out. So that was it for this video. See you in the next one. Until then, this is Karan Damani and taking your leave.